Grand rising sunshine. It's your daddy in Dubai, day 35. And look, day 34 is a day I'll never forget for the rest of my life. And my son, you know why, right? You're 10 years old, and in the 10 years you've been alive, there's only been one person that's ever cut your hair, and that's me. And obviously, I'm not around to cut your hair at the moment, and for that reason, there had to be a plan, right? You and your mum called me to give me some great news, right? And immediately I thought, wow, if this is what's happening on Tuesday, you're going for a casting call, your hair needs to be fixed, right? As Dizzy Rascal says, fix up, look sharp. It needs to be done. And I'm thinking, wow, okay, if I'm not there to cut your hair, and I wasn't trying to make that rhyme. Just so you know, I'm having a coffee, and the pool's over there, the sun's over there. You've got a casting call, and you need a haircut. And I'm thinking, okay, there's only two people that I trust to cut your hair, and it's already been organised for when I'm not around. The first one is Lincoln. And just to put it into perspective, Jaden, you know who Lincoln is. But everyone else watching this video, they don't know who Lincoln is, right? Lincoln is somebody who came as an apprentice to when Daddy had a shop with Uncle Phil. We had a shop, I mean, he's still got it, but we had a shop called Burgundy Men's Grooming, right, in Manchester, in Salford Central, near the opposite the station, right? And Lincoln was an apprentice, and he was the apprentice that everyone used to say, what's that kid doing? He's just holding the broom, staring. And it almost made some of the customers feel uncomfortable. And I said, no, listen, this kid, he's hungry and desperate to become a barber. So he was just staring, right? So bearing in mind, he's been watching and learning and watching and learning and watching and learning. Then eventually he left to do his own thing. He left the nest and he opened his own shop. And last year, in my moment of need, I needed some work, right? Things hadn't gone according to plan, and look, sometimes in life things don't go according to plan. I now say your plan and God's plan are two different things, right? You might have a plan, but God's plan for you, based on who you are and what you're doing, might be a little bit different. You might have a little detour, right? Anyway, so as a result, I was in a position where I needed some work, and I guess the surprising part was I had 10 barbers that worked for me, and many of them opened their own shops. And when I approached them all to see if there's any work that could help me out, give me a spot, there was only two, right? Lincoln opened his doors. He said, Diz, anytime you want to come here, mate, you're welcome. And I really appreciated that. So on the Saturdays, I'd go and help Lincoln out, and it was amazing to see. He was on his second shop, the first shop he had for quite a few years, and he then relocated, and bless his dad, Mark, absolute legend. He did his shop up for him, And the shop that he's got now is so nice, so slick, and it's done properly, right? You know when it's done properly, it's done proper. So I said to Lincoln, I said, listen, when I go to Dubai, you may have to look after Jaden's hair, right? And he gladly said yes. And the other guy, who I never, he didn't work for me, but we worked together in a shop called Original Barbershop, and his name is Ronnie. Now, Ronnie is a remarkable individual, right? He really helped me in my moment of need, and I'll never forget this guy. And before I left, I took Jaden to meet Uncle Ronnie, and I said, you know something, Jaden, this guy, Ronnie, he did something for me that no other human has done for me. Well, not to my knowledge, as in at my time of need. I remember going to his shop and I said, hey Ronnie, do you have any space for me to work? And immediately he said, Dizzy, that's your chair over there, go on. And I never forget, the first day I did my haircuts there, I made some money that day, and I asked him, I said, how much do you want from what I've taken today? And he said, keep it, Dizzy, I don't want it. And over the next couple of months, I'm not gonna lie, I was struggling financially. And what I did over the next couple of months is I put some money aside, and I wanted to give Ronnie something because he'd not asked me for any money. And I bought him 4 grams of gold because I knew the money was just going to get spent and it would be gone. However, he won't spend the gold, right? And gold is something that, if you know about it, will just increase in value. And I said, Ronnie, I want to give you something that's going to go up in value because what you've done for me is something really, really special. So we have Ronnie and we have Lincoln. And I said to my wife, where do you want to go for your haircut? So yesterday, Jaden went to get his haircut by Lincoln. And the most amazing part of this whole story was I met somebody by the name of Alex. And Alex and I connected on LinkedIn after I saw what he did on his profile. But to my surprise, when I contacted him on LinkedIn, he sent me a WhatsApp message. He goes, Dizzy, we already know each other. And I'm like, what? How on earth is that possible? But the reason that was possible is because I was never really active on LinkedIn. It wasn't something that I was an active user. Had I have seen his profile on LinkedIn, I would have known exactly what he's up to. But the exact position I was in, I needed somebody with his credentials immediately. So he commented on my post, and I immediately contacted him. He sent me a WhatsApp message and I said, listen, I need to talk to you as soon as possible. That very same day, I think it was Friday night, we got on a Zoom call and we had a conversation, and within that conversation he said, Dizzy, based on what you said, I need to introduce you to somebody called Giovanni. He has a blockchain project, and many of you may know me as the blockchain barber, because I got into crypto and made some serious wealth, and it changed many people's lives. Some for the better, some for the worse. But they're all illusions, right? But that's another story. Anyway, so Giovanni's a blockchain guy. Alex connected us. I looked at Giovanni's project. I took a bit of a deeper dive, and I was so impressed that the next morning, I mean, we connected in a WhatsApp group and arranged a call on Friday to have a call on Monday. When I woke up Saturday morning, there was something inside of me that said, I can't wait till Monday to have this call. So I messaged Giovanni in the morning and I said, Giovanni, with all due respect, I am not a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, Sunday, weekend is my weekend kind of guy. Every day's the same day. Every day's an opportunity to make your dreams and live your purpose, right? So I left him this message and I said, Mr. Giovanni, if you do not have anything planned on the weekend, I don't really want to wait till Monday to have a conversation. So can we have a conversation today, if it's possible? Anyway, last night at 5:30 Dubai time, we were having a conversation, and I can safely say it's the deepest conversation I've ever had in 50 years of being alive. When I say that, I'm not saying it lightly. What Giovanni has is something that will change the world as we know it. And look, there are many people that changed the world. Steve Jobs changed the world when he did, when he came out with the iPhone, right? Bill Gates changed the world when he came out with Microsoft. What Giovanni has will change the world as we know it. And it's something that is required now. So imagine this, as this epic conversation is happening between myself and Giovanni, the deepest conversation I've ever had, with a deep-rooted philosophy behind it that it was so powerful. At the same time this was happening, Lincoln was giving Jaden a haircut, the first ever haircut that Jaden's had in his whole life in 10 years by someone other than me. So that was day 34, man. I think I sent 2 or 3 videos. I uploaded 2 or 3 videos yesterday anyway. But this had to be a conversation on its own. And it wasn't possible last night. I think I was still taking it in, but as I wake up this morning and I reflect back on the previous 24 hours, wow. And some of you may be watching this thinking, Dizzy, what was the conversation, right? That will not be revealed yet. It will be revealed all in good time. But it was, like I said, a deep and meaningful conversation that can and will impact the whole world as we know it, in a positive manner, in a required manner. And at the same time, I gave somebody else the responsibility for my son's hair, which, if you're a hairdresser, man, one of the guys that trained me, I actually went to meet him after many years, and he said to me that his son goes to university in Preston, and whilst he's in Preston, he comes back to London to see his dad for a haircut every 3 months. So it's a personal thing, right? And I said to my wife, you know, after working with Lincoln over the last year, he is super skilled as a kid. And I even said to my wife, I have a feeling he's going to give Jaden a better haircut than me. And listen, Lincoln, if you're watching this, man, you delivered, bro. You delivered, kid. You delivered, bro. You delivered, full stop, man. I saw Jaden's hair. Wow. You are his new barber. And I feel like a proud dad, because you were like my little son who learned and watched and grew and did his own thing. And now you have the responsibility of my son. Praise the Lord. There is a God, and he's watching down on all of you right now. So with that in mind, sunshine, It's Sunday. And no doubt at some point we will have a call, because it's necessary, man. So look, I'm gonna have my morning coffee. I'm representing Preston and Spud Bros today. I'm gonna go out today and rep the place where I was born and bred up until the age of 17. But after my coffee, I'm gonna go for a swim, because that was something that I desired. So, love you to the moon and back, sunshine, and I love the world. So if you're watching this, understand this, that you know what, you're awesome. Yeah, you. If you're watching this, I want you to know that you're bloody awesome, mate. You have this greatness within you, and you have permission to go out there and make this one of the best days and the most memorable days of your life, because tomorrow's another day, and tomorrow's video will be emotional, because tomorrow you say goodbye to my good friend Seb. And Jaden, you know Seb, right? Not the barber, but the guy who used to bring clothes to our house. The beautiful, beautiful human who lives in my heart every day. So that'll be tomorrow's call. It'll be all over my social media. So yeah, that's what time it is today. Have the most beautiful day you've ever had in your whole entire life.